Welcome to the Friday Night Jaw Harping. Little bit of harping. What is y'all doing? There's chair adjusted here. You can see the artwork in the background is getting gnarlier. I work on it just a little bit each day. Here we have jaw harps everywhere in it. Whoa. And ain't nobody showed up yet. Oh, we got people. Hey, y'all, what's up? Just a little bit of Friday night harping, playing the Batman. And I've been doing a little bit of thinking lately on harps. Each harp plays differently, so I try to play a harp where it plays best. This harp, like the Batman, it plays a lot better in the deep throat. Hey, Joanne, what's up? It's Aunt Joanne. How y'all doing? And I'm playing the Batman. And I found, and my attitude on harps has changed a little bit. Used to be, I played every single harp out there exactly like I'd play a Salagi, really breathy. But like if you're playing, say, a Glazerin or some of the other comas, you get a little bit of that. Oh, Joanne says, I want a Batman. Hey, and I do have more Batman coming in. I just put in another big Glazerin order. But a lot of the Glazerin don't play. There's a little bit of breath. But due to that stiffer reed, you don't get as good as breathing as you say on a Salagi, but there's a lot more to it. You can play with breathless play. They play really, really well with the throat and at the back of the mouth. That's all breathless play. I'm breathing in through my nose, breathless play. I'm playing a lot in the deep throat. And I'm just pulsating my throat and also flicking my tongue and the back of my tongue up. That almost like a bullfrog or a frog chirping. And a lot of the Glazerin and a lot of comas play better in the deep throat. You'll notice some of your higher pitch harps may play better, and I'm not a good Morchang player, but they may play better up on the palate. And I'm playing a Morchang right now, like a comas, but there, I'm no longer playing at the back of my mouth. I'm no longer playing in the deep throat. Here's deep throat. A Morchang doesn't aspire. It doesn't play as well in the back of the mouth, in the deep throat. It plays better up on the palate with your tongue close to the roof of your mouth. And it plays better, with percussive noise with that ta, 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 up on the palate. Because the higher harp, as you come down in tone, you'll notice, let's see if I can find a deep bass harp. They'll play better in the throat with the lower tones. Here's a bicall, played up on the palate. Hold on a second here. This harp is ice cold. I almost can't get no noise up with the palate, but in the deep throat, your lower harps tend to play better at the back of the mouth, in the deep palate. Let's see, what's another one here? Here's a Glazerin. I'm just rambling now. Every harp, I try to, when I embrace the jaw harp now, I don't try to play them all the same way. I don't try to play all comas like I would a Salagi, or a Salagi like I would a comas. I'll experiment around and I'll see where does this harp play the best at? Does it play better up on the palate? Does it play better with, breath? Does it play better in the deep throat? Here's a Nurievsky with the ball in. There's deep throat. And some harps kind of either focus on one point or they play, a balance of different things. They play with a little bit of breath, they play a little bit of deep throat, they play a little bit up on the palate. Yeah, I just take every harp and try to see where it plays the best, jump around with it, and music, I used to do more of a range in every song, and this past week I've been concentrating on bringing the subtleties out, not jumping around all over the place, not playing as fast, and just trying to bring out the subtleties. But I'm trying to develop my jaw harp game. I'm trying to just, and every week is different. Like the week before I was trying to see how fast I could play, how much I could jump around. This week I've just concentrated more on where a harp plays, playing up on the palette and the subtleties, and calling all choirs says, "Hey Jamie, it's Mark out in San Francisco. The package you read." Oh, nice. Let me know how you like the harps. That was a gentleman who ordered some harps for me. I've got a page on Facebook. It's called The Harpery. I sell some harps. I've got some Glazerins still in stock. The last Black Friday, I totally got cleaned out on my harps. I've got tons of orders more coming. Oh, he says they're great. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed them, dude. And anyways, what have I been up to? Been working on the harping shop. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you've seen the very, very stout harping bench I've been building. And every night, I spend just a little bit of time working on the artwork. Eventually, this entire backdrop is going to be covered with this gnarly artwork. And I've got harps hidden all over in them. And it's a pegboard, so I'll have harps hanging on them as well. But check out the art I've been working on. I haven't drawn in years. There's harps all over it, mixed in with the colors, and this is what I've been working on the past couple days. This bit of gnarliness. There's a mun harp in there of all different colors, and then I drew some scenery in the background, and I'm just happy that I've had time to start on art again, because art is such a wonderful thing, and I haven't done it for years. Recently started reading too, so glad to know I still know how to read, kinda. I used to read a lot as a kid. The duet is a skill tester. I haven't played it a whole bunch. Porky Miller's starting to get pretty good on his. It's just such a gnarly feeling to have these two frequencies bouncing around in your head. And I've ordered quite a few duets. Hey, Porky Miller, I was just speaking to the devil. What's up, dude? Yeah. I'm trying my hand at the duet. I was just singing your praises that you're getting pretty good at the duet. And I barely played it at all. It's something I need to work on. And this brings me back to a point I was talking about earlier. on where a harp plays the best. Does it play best with breath? Does it play best back in the throat, at the back of the mouth, or up on the palate? The duet, pretty much all you can do with it, because your mouth is spread so far apart, you really can't play it much on the palate because of how far your mouth is playing. So mainly with the duet, I've been playing in the throat, at the back of the mouth, just because of how close or how far apart your jaws are. So you pretty much have to play it there. Here, I'll try to play it up on the palate, see if we get anything out of it. I need to do more experimenting around with the duet and just see where it's most comfortable. It's hard to get them palate tones because of how open your mouth is. Weird harp the duet is. And here in the future, I plan on getting some other double reed harps, like maybe a double reed Comus. I've seen that they do double reed Morchangs as well. Wild Billac says, I wanted to learn to make jaw harps. Do you have any info on making them? Oh, check out. I didn't get to all your comment. It was quite the novel. Go ahead and check out. I have a tutorial on how I do it. It's called Let's Make a Jaw Harp. It's a 19-part series. It encompasses most of what I do to make harps. Go ahead and check that out. If you want to get a hold of me or follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you can send me a message. And, oh, Porky Miller's going, hey, have a great weekend, dude. Yeah, just go ahead and get a hold of me on Facebook or Instagram if you have questions for me. Send me a message. I also post lots of pictures, you know, on the progress I make on harps. And, you know, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. So I would check out some of the Morchang makers as well. And I've got some friends also from Russia who make harps. I'll see if they have any videos on it as well. But yeah, go ahead and check that tutorial out. And I'm getting sidetracked as per the normal. Another harp that plays good at the back of the throat is the Glaser & Star. And it plays pretty well everywhere. About the only harp I've liked better than the Star would probably be the Alpha. And I've got a whole bunch more of them coming because I don't even have one for my collection, just the ones I've sold. I was like, man, this is a good harp. You got all that clear bell ring, all those clear overtones like the Star's got, but only you can play it fast. Oh, and that's something I've been trying as well. I try to switch up my game as much as possible. I've noticed a lot of Comus players, and I'm probably mispronouncing it. I've been calling it Comus. I think it's pronounced hummus. A lot of them will be gripping the harp like this. And I've been experimenting around with that. And if you have a harp that's really, really picky about technique, it does help to hold it like this. The tendency when I hold it like this is I don't put as much pressure up against my teeth so them tight gaps don't get closed. And another cool thing about doing that is if you do it right, you can showcase, you know, gnarly artwork on a harp. And if you notice, I'm playing a lot in the deep throat there. Well, when you're playing in your deep throat, you can't, that's probably not a good term for that. But if you're playing in the throat, you can't really breathe when you're doing it, so you can hear me sneaking in the breath. I'm there at the end, that's when I'm breathing in, I'm getting a little bit of breath, or I'm breathing out, in, breathing out. And that's something that I have to do, especially because my nose, I can breathe through it a little bit. It got broke many times in my younger days from MMA, kickboxing, all that. So I can't really breathe excellent through my nose, and it kind of goes. I'll have a couple days where my nose will breathe good, and then allergies will act up, and I can't breathe well through my nose. So I'll sneak those breaths in through my mouth and be a mouth breather of sorts. There, you hear that? I'm playing up on the palate. I'm bringing my tongue closer to the roof of my mouth, and I'm flicking my tongue. Oh, he says his name is Bill. The AK is for Alaska. What's up, Bill? How you doing? I'm from Kansas, where there's a little bit of distance separating us, but yeah, I hope things are going well up in Alaska. We're having a very warm winter. It has been 60s, 70s, and 80s most days. And Jade Rice says, "G'day from Australia." Well, g'day to you. G'day from Kansas. Yeah, I'm not good at saying g'day. Wild Bill says, "It's dark and cold." Oh, it's Nico Hunis. What's up, dude? How you doing? Nico's another North American jaw harpist. Fantastic harp player. Plays the harp faster than anybody I've ever seen. Awesome Merchunga technique. I am not good on the Merchunga. I plan on growing more in the harp and doing more Merchunga and doing more. I just seen a comment from Nico, doing more Merchunga and more Morchang. I want to grow more in that because my percussive style, it's not really up to par. What I like doing the most, and it's what I stick to the most because I'm most comfortable, is the breathy style play, and I'm kind of transferring over to that breathless style. Here's my breathing style, and I've kind of gotten away from that as of late because I really want to grow in the breathless style of play, though. And eventually I want to get my Merchunga and Morchang technique down. And Wild Bill says, "I'm practicing playing along with Bach and the harps." Oh, gnarly. That's so cool. I love playing along with other instruments, and I don't get too often. Nico says, "Dude, you got great breath control." Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I am good at the hillbilly breathing and the breath control, as Nico said, but I shouldn't just stick to what I'm comfortable in. I should get outside of my comfort zone and grow and become good in other areas of the harp. So that's what I'm going to try to do in the upcoming weeks. Let's see, what else should I play? I'm playing a little bit of everything. I did touch on a duet a little bit, got weird with it. Super weird with it. Oh yeah, the Tartars, and I'm still trying to find the maker of Tartars because I want to start stocking the Tartars here at the Harpery, but I haven't found the maker. I believe the maker's name is Mustafin, who makes the Tartar harps. Really super cheap, really a good value of harp, but I just haven't been able to find the maker yet. Joanne Leclerc says, "Wow, yeah, the Tartars," and I still haven't been able to locate the maker of them yet. There's a lot of makers aren't on social media. But yeah, the little Tartars, and the other Tartar I really like, if I can find it. Oh yeah, the bass Tartar, which is more of a bottom end of the mid-range harp, but super awesome for under 30 bucks. Nico says he loves the bend of his frame. Yeah, the tartar is kind of the concept that I based some of my first harps off of, that 4-bend pattern. If you look at it, while Bill says he likes that, if you look at this, and we were to look at this like it was one flat piece of key stock, we have 4 bends in here, where most harps have only 3. We have a bend here, a bend here, and what looks to be the same radius here and here. So you have 4 bends coming together, where most harps, like let's look at a Morchang, we have basically 1 bend, 2 bends, and then a 3rd. Same with the Blackfires. We have 1 big radius here and 2 outside radius. I call them inside and outside bends because when I bend a harp, for the arms, I bend them 2 outward. I don't have anything to draw on, but we bend 2 of them outward, and then we rotate around a central radius. Or in the case of this, or I don't know if I have one of my other ones. Oh, here's one of my old designs. Same type of thing. I would do 2 outside bends and 2 inside bends to make a match. And this was actually a failed design. This was my take on, I wanted to make a harp in G, and it just didn't play with the consistency I ever liked. Oh yeah, I have. I've made a ton of harps up, and I don't have any of them in stock because I sold all of them before I moved. But yeah, I made a ton of harps with the 3-bend pattern, and if you, I don't have any of them, even any failed ones. If you look at my my 19-part tutorial, I show how I made that that 3-bend pattern, and it's long. It almost goring shape, but not quite. My embouchures are much longer and tighter than that. But yes, and I'm going to be resuming making harps in the 3-bend pattern that are tuned as soon as the shop gets finished build. Which pattern do you prefer to make or play on? As far as play-wise, I really am not partial to either one, but I prefer to make the 3-bend pattern. This would be the 4-bend pattern, just because it's easier to get my gaps to come out consistent, especially adjusting it at the end, making final adjustments. It's easier to adjust 1 central radius of an outside bend versus the 2 inside bends. It's harder to get it to come out. And I'm probably going to be alleviating that with the new vise. I bought a $700 Wilton vise, and I paid like $200 to have brass and steel jaws made. But both of them seem to play well, and it's holding them isn't that much different because even my 3 radius one isn't that much smaller. In fact, I found that the ones that I played before I shipped them out, it was a little bit easier to get my mutes. A lot of people, everybody mutes different. Some people mute thumb, some people mute this finger, some people like muting with the middle finger. I prefer to do the majority of my muting with the pinky. And anything, it doesn't matter as much, you know, whether it's a 3-bend or 4-bend pattern, because even like a Blackfire, it's close to the same at the back, so you get that easy to hold, easy to mute. And Nico says he's a thumb muter. Yeah, thumb muting works. Works perfectly too. You kind of get that fading, or at least the way I do a thumb mute, you kind of get that fading mute. And Blackfires are super easy to thumb mute because we have the reed crimped on the back side, so you have really easy access for the thumb mute. Whenever I want to do like a slap mute, I prefer the pinky. There I'm doing slap mutes, and I'm also doing like a slide mute. Nico says it's a nice transition between muting and offsetting the reed with your thumb. Oh yeah, Nico is a master draw starter as well. And if your thumb's already back there, you're ready for draw starting. A lot of my mutes are slap mutes. If you get like a harp with medium stiffness, like a lot of the Masco, this one's covered in coconut oil. Everything I own now is becoming covered in coconut oil. And there's a little bit of little bit of coconut oil stuck in there. With them slap mutes, if you punch and exhale, you can set up a drum beat within your tunes. There at the end, I was doing more of a slide mute. You can get that slide mute if you just barely graze on down that. And I'm probably too close to the camera now because this is a Masco, and many of the Masco are just screaming loud. I'm just using my iPhone 7, so being too close to the camera will distort the mic, especially like with a Masco or anything that's very loud. Oh, somebody, Nico, I think I seen a big N on there. That must be Nico. He commented something. I missed it. I closed my eyes and started getting lost in the plan and forgot all about y'all. That's what I love about the jaw harp. It takes me away from it all. Like I can be here in front of all y'all or even up in front of an audience and I can close my eyes and just forget about everything and just get lost in the music. The same's true with getting back into artwork. I got super lost in this last night, especially I did this little landscape in between the harp. That's actually a mun harp that I did on all different colors and it's growing on a stem from the rest of it. And then I did a little landscape in here and I get super lost when I do art. And I get super lost in a harp. Like Nico said, get lost in the vibrations. The harp is an excellent way to de-stress. And if I move over here, it looks like a colorful harp's growing out of my ear. Playing on some black fires. And Nico says, looking so good, are you going to cover the whole board? Yes, I'm going to do like 30 minutes to an hour every day if I have time. And it's just going to continue to grow. And it's not growing fast because if you see what I did here, I worked on this a little bit and then I worked on shading and blending this together because a lot of my colors in here, there's still space in between them. I'm using yellows and lighter colors to do like this. Yesterday, shaded it all together. There's a bird up top there, like a skeleton looking bird. And I use yellows I'm doing this all with permanent markers. We're getting off the topic of jaw harps, but blah, blah, blah. It's Friday. I've got all these brightly colored and darkly covered Sharpies and permanent markers and going back over with like a light yellow on the blacks and the greens. It starts blending them together. So it's not gonna grow quickly because there's a lot of shading. I'm gonna take care of this before I move out. And I'm gonna grow it a little bit, then I'm gonna come back and start blending colors and blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't call this Friday Night Jaw Harp. This should be called Jamie Bebb Wastes 30 Minutes of Your Time. Playing on some wooden harps. Waylon Harmon sent me these actually. I gifted him one of my harps, a very nicely harp tuned in D sharp. He sent me some, he called them Cuban. And that's just another example of where a harp plays best. I was talking about, does a harp play better? You know, certain harps will play better up on the palate. Certain harps will play better back in the deep throat, back at the back of the mouth. Certain harps will play better just as breathers or percussives. This is a lower toned cubing, so it doesn't play well up on the palate. I'll play it with my tongue clear at the top. Not much there, but once I get in the back of the mouth and down in the throat, one thing, I just had a thought. I have, you know, a harp needs to be kind of warmed up. It needs to be caressed into making the tones you want. This has happened to me several times before. You know, I'm wanting to demonstrate a harp to somebody, so I just pull out a harp and I go into just, you know, crazy, gnarly noise just all over the place. And it never sounds as good as you think it's going to sound. It always seems better on a harp if you warm it up with some tones and get those harmonics ringing in your mouth or in your throat and start massaging them into a song. And I think another part of it may be a harp starts playing better when it starts getting near the same temperature you are, because we're not room temperature. You know, a harp is room temperature. It's 70 degrees, it's 60 degrees. It might be 40 degrees if it's out in your garage, whereas we're humans, we're walking around, we're like almost 100 degrees. So a harp seems to play better as it warms up and gets the same temperature as you. Yeah, Nico says cold harps are pretty stiff. And yeah, that's a good point. I always try to warm my harps up at least a little bit, especially if you have a harp that's been sitting in a cold car. Don't pull it out, start hammering on it. Cold metal doesn't like to flex well. And I think Salagi used to put these in his harps, that a little reminder that a harp will play. Jade Wright says, I used to blow hot air into my flute. Oh, yeah, that seems legit too. I wonder, does a flute probably plays better as it starts to warm up? Because everything vibrates better as it starts getting warmer. But anyways, I lost what I was going to say. Oh yeah, Salagi used to, I don't know if he still does, I haven't ordered any of his harps for a while. He used to put a little reminder in there saying that at room temperature, it's estimated that one of his harps gets 31 million plucks inward at room temperature. So if you're playing a cold, ice cold harp outward, it's probably going to reduce the lifespan a little bit, or if not, even more. Where was I going? I'm getting sidetracked. Talking and playing harps. I've got a C sharp. See, even this is a very cold harp. It's probably 60 degrees in my basement. This is a Blackfire, which is a really loud harp. Now that it's cold, it's really not playing that loud. Let's go ahead and let's play it for a minute or two and see if it starts ringing better and starts resonating better. Because right now, yeah, this harp is probably 35 degrees colder than I am in Fahrenheit, and whatever that would be in centigrade. Yeah, not really, it's loud, but it's not screaming loud yet. I felt probably, and I don't have any scientific data to support this, probably about 60 seconds to 2 minutes after starting to play it, it started ringing a little bit better. The reed started to loosen up. It started to flex better. It may even have been louder. But I don't have any scientific data to support that. Where's Mythbusters when you need them? We need like a Mythbusters Harping edition. But yeah, and you've just seen me get totally lost in the harp. I started playing a Salagi Blackfire, started breathing with it, stopped my foot. About forgot y'all was here. Play one more harp. Harp I've been playing the most this week's the Batman harp, and it already feels cold just from sitting. What harps are y'all playing? Oh, and that's another thing I want to touch on as well. There, I don't know. John Leclerc says, I play the Masco on the one. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that Masco is a fantastic maker of harps, as Joanne is saying. But one thing I want to touch on that I've been doing a little bit this week too, is I've noticed if my nose doesn't work very good, but if it feels like I'm opening up my sinuses a little bit, I start getting a different bit of an overtone. It's not a totally different overtone, it's a different subtlety of it. While Bill says, I only have one. It was made somewhere in England. I have it for about 20 years. Oh, cool. Anyways, Bill, yeah, if you're interested in any harps, I've got quite a few decent Glaserin left. I've got more Glaserin coming. I'm going to have Masco coming after the beginning of the year. I've got some Babayev Mun harp that are being built right now. I've got Maxeyev, the Calling All Clarier says, been working on traditional Norwegian and oh, cool. Oh, yeah, Mun harp is a good harp as well. I do have some Mun harp coming from Babayev. They're still being built right now. I've got more Oleg coming. During the last Black Friday sale, I did sell my my good gnarly Oleg, so I'm going to be really happy to get that again. Also got a maker coming. I've been trying to seek out makers I've never heard of before. One is Alex Nitochi from Ukraine. He's sending, I think I got 14 or 16 harps from him coming. Some really cool cases. So trying to give people a chance to try harps that, you know, aren't sold in any stores. And there are so many harp makers cropping up. He says he's been playing Nazarovs as well. I've never played a Nazarov. Where's Nazarov from? But yeah, as I was saying with Ukraine, there are so many new harp makers cropping up. I'm going to be doing more reviews. I've got more coming in the harpery. Russia. Y'all, between Russia and Ukraine, there are so many awesome harp makers. I've been playing for almost 40 minutes without drinking any water. I'm starting to dry out. Yeah, I should write that down somewhere. Let's see here. There, Nazarov. Now I'll remember it. It's written in really brightly colored green marker, and it's just going to become a part of the artwork. Won't even know it's there. Calling All Choir says they may be the most versatile instruments I've ever played. Great for melody and rhythm. Is that the Nazarovs or is that the Munharpa? And if so, what Munharp do you have? Oh, he says Nazarov. Okay. And is the Nazarov, is he a maker of Munharp or is he a maker of Vargan style? Or? And I'm probably using the term Vargan too liberally. I'm just using it to encompass all the harps made there in Russia and Ukraine. And Ukraine may even have a different name for it, but I believe a lot of the people from Ukraine, and don't quote me on this, speak Russian. Or at least that's the way it works out on my translator. I get harps from many Ukrainian makers, and I just take what they've said, I put it on my translator, it translates it from Russian to English, and I can talk to people in other languages. Anyways, it's almost, yeah, we're looking at 40 minutes. It's about time for me to wrap this up. I think I'm going to end it with playing the clackamore. After this, I'm going to go read to my wife's pregnant belly. I got my little son in there. We've been reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We recently moved, and I found a whole bunch of books. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was a book I was given back in 1994 when I was just a little sprat, when I was 10 years old, from Grandpa and Grandma. So I'm like, I want to read it to my unborn son. And every night we've been working on a chapter, and tonight I think we're reading the last or next to the last chapter. And shouldn't call this Friday Night Jaw Harp. You just call it whatever's going on at the Bebb household. What's up, brother? You got me into the jaw harp. Oh, that is so awesome to hear. I'm glad that you found the harp. It's so awesome to be adding more people to the jaw harp family. And Aunt Joanne says, hi, say hi to Jillian, baby boy. But yeah, I will. I will tell him Aunt Joanne says hi. And Joanne's not really our aunt, but she's been ordering quite a few harps from me. And like every time she sends me a payment, she includes a little something for little baby Donovan, which is so cool. The first time she ordered a harp from me, she sent a little t-shirt, a little onesie for Mr. Donovan. This last time she sent a very cool Native American blanket. But very, very cool. That's so nice of you, Joanne. The Bebbs love you. And anyways, I'm going to end with that. But yeah, that was a clackamore. It was made by a friend of mine, Mr. Waylon Harmon. And at the next North American Jaw Harpist Festival, we are going to, we're going to have to do some jamming, harping, clackamore. Last time, what all did we have? The grand jam after the first night, everybody got up on stage. There were a whole bunch of jaw harp players. There was a lady doing Native American vocals. We had people playing washtub basses. Uncle Jim was playing on the washboard. Porky Miller was getting gnarly on this huge didgeridoo. It was such an awesome time. But anyways, I'm blathering on. I hope y'all are having an excellent weekend. I love all y'all. Stay harpy. Adios. Love y'all.